Hello, welcome back to GameSpot's continuing coverage of Penny Arcade Expo 2014. My name is Danny O'Dwyer and I'm delighted to be joined by Mr. Adam Urbano.
Pleasure.
NetherRealm Studios.
That's me.
You guys are making a new Mortal Kombat game.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, it's you guys have had a sort of a renaissance in MK of the past like 5 or 6 years.
Yep.
What's the new challenge with Mortal Kombat X?
The goal is, so with 9 we rebooted the franchise back to the basics. 2D functionality, really good looking graphics and balance. With X, the challenge is how do we take that and advance that storyline, all those features, and make it something that is the next true Mortal Kombat game after the reboot.
You guys are leaning into that storyline pretty hard.
Yes.
Came back in MK versus DC. Obviously, he's a big part of MK9 as well. Now we've got Johnny Cage having babies. What the goddamn hell is happening?
So X being sort of a metaphor for obviously MKX, the 10th version of the franchise, but also the next generation of consoles.
Okay.
And the next generation of characters.
Sure.
So you're going to see a lot of growth through story. It takes place between 5 and 25 years after the events of MK9. So you get to see things like Johnny Cage's daughter Cassie.
Yeah. Can you fight her as Johnny Cage?
Yeah, you could.
Great.
Yeah.
Video games.
Indeed.
We got some B-roll of the game here. I played a bit of it at Gamescom. You guys unveiled a bunch of new characters as well. Talk a little bit the sort of the new characters that are coming to the franchise, because obviously, you know, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, those staples we've already seen a lot of.
Yep. So some of the sort of new characters to the franchise overall, we have Kotal Khan, sort of an Aztec-based fighter, a lot of powers based upon light and darkness and sort of traditional values. We have Farah and Tor, my sort of favorite, because you get this giant sort of guy in Tor, and then the little person on his back, Farah.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
That fatality is awful with the splitting down the middle.
Yeah,
that's pretty nasty.
Yeah, the next gen stuff lets us do some pretty cool stuff with hard fatalities. And then you're looking at, we have Devora that we've shown, who's sort of this insect-based character. A lot of powers based upon little creatures she uses. So one of the cool things is we designed them to kind of fit the MK lore, because we wanted people to sort of immediately recognize these as characters that they feel they've known forever.
I feel like the MK lore is pretty broad, though.
Yeah, well, that's true.
You got ninjas with ice, and then dudes with freaking. Does Baraka have a baby?
Can't confirm that yet.
Okay.
Sorry.
We're looking at some footage here.
Yeah.
We got some, well, one very familiar character in Raiden, and actually no, and Kano as well, very familiar too.
So this is the one of our newer jungle levels, and we're seeing an example of Raiden's sort of various powers. Because one of the things we've done with this game, one of the big gameplay features is variance. Yeah.
So you've like split. Is it every character's got 3 different sets of movesets?
So their moveset, like at its core, is still shared across characters, because we don't want you to have to learn 3 different Raidens. But they each have these fundamental powers that are unique to each branch, each variation. And it changes the way you play. So you're going to have more defensive along one particular variant versus something more offensive. Your strategy is going to change. You're going to have different unique specials and abilities. It's really cool and really fun to balance.
Was that ever a worry, considering Mortal Kombat has always been the sort of more accessible of the fighting games, that like you're going to overcomplicate things for people?
Yeah, so we're very cognizant of that. So we wanted to make sure that this isn't something you can change during gameplay, and that sort of the core mechanic, you can still, you know, whatever variant you choose is there. So the variants are sort of more something that affects strategy and gives you additional moves, but if you just want to sort of button mash and just have a good time, it's going to be the same across all the variants.
As well, speaking about the sort of differences between MK and a bunch of other fighting games, you guys have kind of always sat on the periphery of the fighting game community in terms of esports, or in terms of like competitive stuff. Is that always has that been a concern maybe this time around, that you guys want to get in on that? Is that maybe what the variants are kind of alluding
MK9
to?
actually was our first foray into sort of the technical fighter. It was the Evo. It was an Evo game, and it was something that we were really focused on, you know, getting into that sort of serious market and the credibility. So with MKX, we're taking everything we learned and making sure that everything available for sort of that tournament level player is there, because that's something we want. You know, it's the easy to learn, lifetime to master concept.
As well as just sick ass. Oh God. What's he do? That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that obviously is a fatality. Next gen fatality, where we can do all the things we've always wanted, letting the people that come up with them go a little crazy.
The latest generation of consoles has finally allowed Ed Boon's nasty death fantasies to become real.
All of the team's fantasies to come real.
It's not just Ed in a room with a piece of paper just writing down, I want Kano to burst through Raiden's head. I want that little girl to slice straight down ladies' backs with her knife.
He's certainly very much kind of the visionary of each fatality, but yeah, it's not him alone in a room. I think he appreciates the help.
Now, this is a fighting game coming out, and if working in this side of the video games industry is anything, you guys are going to be trickling out details and specifics over the next coming weeks and months.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
So I'm going to guess if I ask you what characters are coming, I'm probably you guys have a plan to like start telling people real slow, right?
Yeah, that's the kind of thing we think about is how to keep people excited and interested in some of the crazy choices we made on roster.
Babalities?
Could be anything.
Friendships?
Could be anything.
God damn it. All right, that's fair enough. Another thing, when I was playing in Gamescom as well, another thing you guys have done is kind of lean into that environmental killing or environmental interactions. Yeah. Because there was a bit of that in 9. At DC, there was sort of the transition stuff.
Yep.
There was a bit in 9. They seem to be a lot more of them, or maybe easier to trigger at MKX.
So it's something we explored with Injustice. It was a chance to go a little crazy with a new franchise and try things that wouldn't necessarily fit in MK. And then we took the stuff that really worked out well and we kind of adjusted it to fit that MK universe. So you're going to see stuff all along the fight line that you can just play with, and it's really easy to use. Just, R1 and you suddenly go and throw a tree or jump off of an object, and there's traps, there's offensive, there's defensive stuff, and it's super sort of casual accessible, but you can do things like combo into them and use them as part of your attacks if you're more of an advanced player.
Yeah, I remember seeing one in the jungle stage where it was a vine hanging down, and it actually enabled you to sort of leap across, which is kind of a new, it's like almost like moving around the map exchange.
The idea is to give you sort of take away some of the advantages that you would typically have. Like if you're in a corner, there's a lot of interactables that let you escape that corner. So you're not getting pummeled all the time. So we really enjoyed that chance to kind of scatter those objects like that tree stump, which just glowed all across the sort of fight line. And
here we are looking at two fan favorites, Scorpion and Sub-Zero. How do you take a guy like Scorpion specifically, who I guess people are used to an entire moveset of, and then almost like, maybe not nerf him, but like split it up? Like I know like Sub-Zero can now throw his ice clone in one of the modes. Do you think that fans will be a bit maybe irked that they can't do like teleportation moves as well as flame moves? Or
so we've been really careful to make sure that the core character, even before you pick your variant, has all the stuff that people sort of relate to the character, the core stuff you would know from MK1 in the arcade, that classic feel. So you're still gonna you're going to have your traditional sort of Scorpion throws spears and his teleport, but it's the addition of new moves you get in the variants. That way we're not sort of breaking that traditional character, because we're obviously very sort of aware of what these characters are and how important they are to keep perfectly classic.
You guys had this playable for press and stuff at Gamescom. Is it playable on the show floor at all?
No, sadly it's
still holding it back.
Still holding it back. A lot of the reason is there's stuff that we're super excited about that we're just not quite ready to show.
Okay.
So once we get that together, we'll be ready to go.
Soon and very soon. I like it. What's that like, I guess, getting a game like MKS into people's hands? Like, you've been involved in the franchise for a while now.
Yep, since MKDC.
How important is it, like, that sort of aspect of it, of like actually watching people play?
Oh, it's almost painful until you get to that point, just because we're so excited to get people's hands on it, and especially as we sort of hit the balance stage and sort of tune and learn about it. We bring in people, so we have a group of either people we just invite or tournament players that we get to have get that early look and help us, and then once we hit the show floor, that's when the fun magic happens, and you'll see us just standing there watching for hours, because it's you learn a ton, and it's really cool to see how people focus on stuff we didn't necessarily think they would.
Yeah, cool. Raiden here, fighting a new character?
Yeah, so that's Kotal Khan, so that's the Aztec-based character that is new.
Khan in the surname, does that mean that he or she is some sort of, I don't know, important top-tier character?
They're all important.
In terms of the tower, in terms of is there any Shao Kahn?
No,
okay.
There's it's just Kotal Khan, sort of more as that South American Aztec reference more than any specific character.
I thought it was like a son or a cousin or a nephew.
Yeah, most people do. So, no, he's all new, and again, he's designed so that he feels like somebody who would have been around forever, that sort of brutal look. And there you're seeing sort of some of what brutal means, particularly for this character.
Yeah, just throw a friggin' barrel full of lemons at him.
Yep, so that's some of the interactions. And then here you're seeing the variations on the characters. This is a good example.
This was a crazy one. This is like you can almost make sort of like, I don't know, barriers out of multiple like lightning bolts?
I love that one. So it's very much focused around defense and traps and hiding. So you're seeing him like bring up these these electric little balls that become defensive units around you, and where you place them and how you use them becomes sort of the core of that character. So yeah, him using the power of the sun in that case.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
X-ray.
Kick to the jaw. Is that massive tiger in the background interactive?
It is,
Right.
actually. You can jump off his head, and maybe at some point he gets angry.
Okay. Fair enough.
So there's Kotal Khan's X-ray.
Oh god, that's the worst. Like, how is he able to fight after that? It's ridiculous.
Largely because if
I'm not giving out about Mortal Kombat's realism.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be much fun if
No.
first hit they'd be dead. So here we're gonna see another one.
Oh god. Oh, that is just the worst. Yep. Great. Love it.
Yep.
Raiden wins.
So fatalities obviously always being a big focus of MK and a lot of fun to make. So a lot of new tech went into making sure that Ed and the team can do whatever they want.
Excellent.
So,
And when will players be able to do whatever they want? It's coming out on a bunch of platforms. When about we going to be able to play Mortal Kombat X?
sort of the window of 2015.
Okay. So you're going to be teasing out those details over the next couple of weeks.
That's
and months.
one of the fun things that people get to learn hopefully very soon.
Okay. Put Baraka in it.
Okay.
If you're still taking suggestions.
Perfect.
Baraka has a kid with Reptile.
All right.
Okay.
Done.
Babalities.
Yep. Friendships.
Animalities. No, animalities.
Right.
Maybe friendships.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Is that okay?
I will email Ed right after this.
Great.
So I guess that's in the game.
Awesome. Thank you. Adam
Congratulations.
Urbano, Dead Love
Pleasure.
Studios, thank you very much for coming on our stage show. And yeah, enjoy the rest of PAX.
Cool. Thanks so much.